In the Philippines, two divers noticed a huge manta ray with a fishing line cutting through its wing. These guys removed the fishing line from the devilfish, and we hope that the wing will heal soon.
This man saved the life of a poor turtle that had been flipped over by the tide. The turtle took a few seconds to catch his breath before going back into his home. Now this firefighter revives the cat that had been rescued from the basement of a burning house. Just listen to the cat's meowing. It is very confused, but still so grateful to be alive.
Now that's what you call a quick reflex.
Pounding as a firefighter made his way onto thin ice to save this dog from drowning. The firefighter almost fell into the water as well, but only seconds before the ice completely collapsed, they were pulled back to safety.
People heard cries for help coming from a ditch, only to find a dying puppy with head trauma. This man noticed a drowning baby fox and immediately jumped into the water without even taking his clothes off. Be brave enough to rescue animals from the war zone, getting them out of their enclosures that are under fire. Thanks to courageous people like this guy, Kangaroo. This stray dog was starving for so long it turned into a living mummy. It was too famished to move. Fortunately, people responded to its cries for help and nursed it back to health. A bit of persistence and humans' best friend is saved. This dog fell under the ice and had no way to save itself. Thankfully, the rescue team got there in time, pulling the dog out of the water. Now, all it has to do is dry off and warm up.
This female loggerhead turtle had a net stuck so far down its throat that it made it difficult for the animal to eat or even breathe. But thankfully, the turtle found these kind people who were willing to help.
The owl fell out of its nest and patiently waited while people were building a ladder to return the bird. As a result, the owlet is back where it belongs and will continue bringing letters from Hogwarts for years to come. This 6-day-old elephant was abandoned by the herd due to illness, but the locals saved it. Look how grateful the animal is to them. And here's an incredible moment of a kitten being rescued a second before death.
Fell into the water and couldn't get back on land, with the mother also unable to help. But these people heard the tiny screams for help and decided to rescue it from drowning and reunite the baby with its mother. For several weeks, but the dog's life was in serious jeopardy and was in desperate need of help. Luckily, these guys finally managed to capture the stray dog using a fishing net and remove the plastic jar that was stuck on its head, saving its life. Tree roots on its way to the sea, but luckily, a kind family decided to rescue it and release it back into the ocean where it belongs.
This person sacrificed himself to protect his dog from 2 American Staffordshire Terriers.
Running around a neighborhood with its head stuck inside a plastic bottle. As the dog's breathing became more labored, he began to panic even more. But luckily, the anxious dog came across these kind people who were willing to help.
These people untangled the turtle from the fishing line and released it back into the water. If only it could talk, it would definitely say thank you. Here, mountain bikers called a wildlife biologist to rescue a foal stuck in a mud pit.
And a couple stumbled upon them and decided to help. After a while, they finally managed to separate the poor animals who appeared to be unharmed, all thanks to the kind couple who spent a few minutes of their time sparing the lives of two helpless creatures who hesitate to risk their own safety to save the poor animal.
Shepherd from the river, several men, including people from a rescue squad, tried to get it out. After many failed attempts, the dog was finally saved and returned to its owner. This poor elk got so stuck in a snowed-in swamp, it couldn't move at all. When it was free, it immediately ran to its friend, who waited patiently the whole time. What could this look mean? And these guys saw an eagle standing on the side of the road, waiting for someone to stop, and this girl sacrificed a pike to free a bird. Sometimes the tide throws sea turtles onto dry land, and if they are upside down, they cannot flip over and get back into the water. This guy found a giant turtle on the shore and saved it by turning it. The leg of this horse got stuck in the fence wire, and it's hard to say how long it would have stayed there if humans didn't come to its rescue. Fortunately, it wasn't injured, and after a while, it was able to run again. It was dehydrated and sick. I think we should all carry water with us exactly for such occasions. This sheep was stuck in a fence and was thrashing uncontrollably, trying to break free. Look how quickly it calmed down when it realized this guy was there to help. This guy saved a drowning sparrow, but he didn't expect the bird to get so attached to its savior that it would sit on his head. And here's what a true hero looks like. Watch this man risk his own life to get an eagle out of a swamp. Have a look at the way this dog climbs into the boat to save itself. Of this poor puppy was seriously injured, and it was dealing with the pain alone until the puppy was found by people. Unfortunately, it lost the ear, but at least it found a family and a happy life.
Magpies all got their heads stuck in a fence and were unable to free themselves. But today was their lucky day, as a man who was passing by stopped to free them.
What would have happened to the little dolphin if it weren't for this kind man? A pelican voluntarily came up to people walking on the beach. Turns out it has a triple hook stuck in its beak. Thankfully, they managed to extract it. A dog found itself in a water trap and would have drowned if it weren't for the rescue crew. Look at how obedient it is, knowing they are trying to help it. And here's another example of placing 100% trust in people. These guys came together to rescue a baby goat.
Animal by setting it free and giving it a drink. Because of the cruelty of many humans, the puppy was terrified when this man approached him. But this man wasn't like everyone else, and after gaining the puppy's trust, he took him home to live the happy and comfortable life he truly deserves. Amazingly, the fox was freed without the need to cut through the wheel, and after a brief recovery time, it was finally returned to the wild. Adorable little ducklings struggling to keep up with their mothers, so when these two ducklings couldn't jump up on the curb to follow their mama, they were lucky this kind man was willing to help. This brave man saves a calf from being eaten by a lion, then having a very intense standoff with a dangerous carnivore. After this man helped a sloth cross the street, the adorable animal even thanked him for its kindness.
This is an incredible show of friendship between a dog and an elephant. Check out how adorable they look playing in the water.
I got you. Buddy. Hey, buddy. It's okay. Okay, bud. It's okay. It's okay, buddy. You'll warm up quick.
Here, people are delivering cows from mountain ranges to comfortable alpine meadows. And here's what a removal of the rhinoceros horn looks like to deter poachers who kill these animals for their horns. They are made of keratin, just like human nails, which means they keep growing back. As for the noise, the animal is wearing headphones, so it's not too scared.
This bat got electrocuted by flying into power wires and unfortunately died. Her little baby was still miraculously alive under its fur. The poor thing doesn't want to let her mother go, but luckily, it looks like she has a new mother now.
A cat nearly became a victim of a python, but the fearless locals saved it, and they were really risking their lives. When a dog fell under the ice, it was a matter of minutes before the animal couldn't be rescued due to cold water. With great difficulty, the men managed to get the dog, and it quickly understood what to do.
The dog took a deep breath and finally began to breathe actively again. The firefighters gave the dog some water and covered it with a warm blanket. Thanks to their heroic actions, the dog fully recovered after a couple of days and is now back with his family.
To rescue this seagull stuck in the power lines, they needed a whole helicopter.
Firefighters, all three of them in the water, rope around the neck, they got him. Great job, they got him, they hooked him there.
Fell into molten rubber and became stuck in the toxic mixture with only his mouth poking out for air. Workers followed the screams of the dog and spent 2 hours getting it out.
This fox cub was loudly crying after getting stuck in some netting. At first it was very frightened, but then realized that people were there to rescue it. Just take a look at such trust between an animal and a human. Low tide, this sea turtle got stranded on the shore upside down, but it was very lucky to be found by these guys, because high tide wasn't due for another few weeks.
Despite the danger, the family attempted to move their boat next to the bear and tried to get the jar off, and after several attempts, they were finally able to free the animal.
Yes, gotcha. Let's go. We saved our little baby.
Powerful rubber fabric can become a death trap for sea turtles who easily mistake them for jellyfish. Just watch how this poor turtle was struggling to survive until it was found by these wonderful guys who didn't hesitate to help the dying animal.
so weak that its nose kept dropping into water. Thankfully, it was treated, and now the pup is perfectly fine. 6 ducklings were crying loudly as they fell through a storm drain. Getting them out wasn't easy, but the rescue team succeeded.
Какую-то сетку увидели, скрученную.
These fishermen noticed that a baby whale tangled in a net approached their boat. They freed the poor animal and pulled the netting out of the water. If only we had more people acting like that. A police officer ran to rescue a dog from a burning vehicle without a second thought.
And tosses Hank into the snow.
Look at this little guy.
Imagine this couple's surprise when they found 7 fox cubs under their terrace. But where's their mom? Either way, people took great care of the cubs. And this dolphin swam right up to the divers in the hopes of being freed from a fishing line. Now it's free, but check this out. It's not in any rush to swim away, thanking its savior instead. And here's another example of an animal trusting a human when it needs help. Isn't it adorable? The police officers saved these ducklings that fell into the drain and returned these babies to their mother. You have to save the world to be a hero. You can just save a cat that got stuck in the window, just like this downstairs neighbor with a long stick.
After a while, they were finally able to remove it and save the poor animal.
In India, a baby leopard got into a huge well. It was rescued using a large net. Once it was back on dry land, the wet kitten ran away to its mom.
It may not look like he's saving the animal, but with the help of his axe skills, he's actually cutting around the calf to release the poor animal who's gotten its head stuck inside a hollow tree.
A tiny baby possum got stuck in the stream and was rescued by 3 people who then decided to have it as their pet.
男生，我就搞不懂了，这个楼是有多么的好玩啊，是有多好？你过来，你把脸给我伸过来，过来，男生。
These divers noticed a large turtle heading their way. Someone must have been very cruel, plunging a spear into the animal's neck. Thankfully, this story has a happy ending. Insects also approach people for help. Look at this praying mantis. It's not even scared.
Hill and couldn't get up, a kind man saved the poor animal and carried it back to its mother. Thankfully, moments later, a store owner spotted the helpless cow and pulled it out of the danger zone with the help of 2 Samaritans. Together, they saved the animal's life just in time.
And this elk came to people with the head of its opponent stuck to its antlers. Unfortunately, the operator was powerless.
At first, the frightened dog was wary, but the rescuer took his time to gain his trust until he was able to bring him to safety.
A dolphin was beached, and as if that weren't bad enough, it was tangled in a net. Fortunately, the animal was quickly freed and returned into the water. It was beached on one of the shores in Brazil. The animal spent almost 20 hours on dry land while people worked hard to get it back into the water. Garbage often brings harm to wild animals. This duck got stuck in a plastic ring and lost the ability to feed. A woman noticed the poor bird and cut the ring off. During a wedding, one of the guests saw that a dog needed help, so he came to the animal's aid. Later, he was joined by another person, and finally, the dog was saved.
After many attempts, this organization could finally catch the sheep and rescue it.
This guy heard a desperate cry from a ditch and realized that there's a living being in the bag. Turns out someone was very cruel to a grown cat.
This mother who performed CPR on a slightly bigger animal after a baby deer was found lifeless on the bottom of their pool.
Oh God, I'm gonna have to give it CPR.
Mom, it's opening.
Okay, all right, here I go.
Mom. He's gonna be coming back.
Yes.
After a long rescue attempt,
A moose got stuck on a railway and people organized an entire rescue mission. In the end, the animal was saved and delivered back to the woods. But it doesn't look like it's in a rush. Almost like it's trying to say thank you.
polar bear asked a man for help after getting its tongue stuck in a tin can, which prevented the poor animal from eating.
Лапами своими не трогай. Почти куда-то.
The man called for help, and after a long rescue mission, they were finally able to remove the tin can and save the polar bear's life.
For food, 4 puppies got stuck in spilled tar. They couldn't move at all, but they still managed to cry for help. To clean the tar off their fur, people had to use oil and dishwashing fluid. And here's what they look like now. Thanks to these people, the baby bird thinks it's being fed by its mom. That's why it's not afraid. And here, a police officer came to a dog's aid when it got stuck in a burning SUV. Take a look at the way it expressed gratitude for its safe. Raccoon collapsed, and it was trapped. Thankfully, 2 teenage brothers noticed it and managed to dig the animal out with their dad's help. Beautiful antlers can turn into a big problem, just as it happened to this deer. Thankfully, people didn't leave it in trouble.
Не, глаза.
Finally gone out, this woman went out in search of animals that needed help and found a little kangaroo with burned hands who was crying for help.
当猫咪遇到胶带的时候，会有什么化学反应呢？
In India, a donkey fell into a septic tank at a construction site. After being stuck in the sewage for 24 hours, the animal was very grateful to be rescued. Used some cables for tree branches and was in real danger as a result. Risking his own life, this man tried to help the sloth, and it's obediently doing everything required. This fox got stuck in the fence and couldn't move until a man noticed and saved her.
Oh my boy, that was lucky, wasn't it? Oh, that's a fella. Oh boy. You
Took him to the vet where he was treated for his injuries. Now he will soon be able to hop around the woods again, thanks to these wonderful people.
It's hard to say how long this heron was hanging on its own beak, fighting for its life. But now it's saved thanks to a kind fisherman who managed to free the bird using his fishing rod. This monkey realized that humans are its only chance, and it was right. This puppy lost consciousness during a fire, and this firefighter brought it back to life with CPR.
Injured and in shock. This kind woman took the cat to the hospital, and amazingly it survived and went on to live a happy life.
And these guys are not just railway workers. They are real heroes. They jumped off a moving train to rescue a chamois that was buried under the snow by a different passing train. And saved a monkey from a pack of dogs, but it stopped breathing because of an injury. He swooped in with a heart massage and a mouth-to-mouth. It hurts animals just as much as it does people. Look at these cats, rescued and fed by this bearded dude that came to Irpin.
That fell into the water, it seemed impossible that it would be able to get out. But thankfully, this man came up with a creative idea and saved the poor animal.
And here everyone deserves praise. The person rescuing the cat and the cat who understood the assignment.
This cat was poisoned by carbon monoxide and seemed to have no chance of surviving, but his owner begged rescuers for help. The firefighters refused to give up, and after a long rescue mission, a miracle happened. The cat came back to life.
Pakistani kid is very poor, and to make a living he sells plastic he finds on the streets. And yet he regularly buys milk for a stray cat.
Into a deep well is saved by using a creative DIY method.
That's the condition the puppy was in when people found it. But wait till you see what it looks like today. Drowned in a canal, a person became a saving grace. The guy grabbed the dog with his legs to pull it out of the water.
Luckily, these people found it before it was too late and managed to rescue the poor animal.
This person got a baby monkey out from underneath the ruins and returned it to its mom. Just look at her reaction. A baby fox got its head stuck in a can and was desperately crying for help. Thankfully, the cub was rescued, and now it is safe. This person freed a koala from the netting. But what is it doing instead of running away?
People found a baby monkey stuck under a sheet of insulation and returned it to its worried mother. The mother thought she had lost her child, but look at the relief on the mother's face when they're reunited.
安生，你别舔了，那是你弟弟呀，你舔它干嘛呀？一会儿把它头舔秃噜皮了。那你舔吧，反正你弟弟有蛋蛋，你没有。你没有。
Baby shark found itself trapped among the rocks and may never have seen his family again if it hadn't been for these surfers. They tried to simply push the young creature into deeper water, but they had to do much more to get it back home. Italian firefighter becomes emotional after rescuing a small kitten and cries his heart out, proving that he's a true hero with a compassionate heart.
Filled with water.
And this fearless man jumped into the icy waters to rescue a deer with a bucket on its head. A little while later, his friend came with a boat and they started to act. And finally, this person helped a deer whose antlers were stuck in the edges of the pier. Just look at the scared but grateful eyes of the animal.
That were terribly affected was this whale koala who was badly burned and in desperate need of help. Luckily, there were a lot of kind people who stayed in these dangerous areas to save all the animals that were left behind. Just watch how this man and woman saves the koala to later transport it to a nearby hospital. Husky pup choked on his food. It caused his heart to stop beating. But this kind-hearted man did everything he could to save him.
way.
This guy tried to explain to a deer how to get off the highway. And he succeeded.
Atta boy, jump over.
Well, almost. Now he did.
Yes! Oh,
A small wild bird was hiding out from the 113-degree Australian heat in a car with people. And even once it felt better, the bird was not in any rush to leave its saviors.
Kangaroo thanks its rescuers by shaking their hand.
Oh, well done.
Oh, he's thanking you.
Now, as the mother elephant regains consciousness, she realizes that her baby has been freed, and they happily walk away together. After a long and complicated struggle, they finally manage to free the exhausted animal and transport it back far into the wilderness.
Of course, dolphins can survive for a little while without water, but they need help to avoid dying if they are beached. And so, many thanks to this person. Just listen to the heartbreaking cries of this scared, injured, and cold puppy. But when it realized that people won't harm it, the puppy settled down and calmly went to a clinic with them.
Got stuck in a gate grill, she was initially scared and acted aggressively toward them. But after 9 hours, the poor dog finally accepted that they were trying to help her. After a long rescue mission, they were finally able to set her free.
The elephant approached the doctors of its own volition so that they could treat the string headache. Turns out someone shot the elephant in the head and the bullet got stuck in the skull. Just a fraction of an inch further and the animal would have been dead. The elephant had surgery and now it's doing perfectly fine. A whole rescue team was needed to save a horse that got stranded during a flood. Look at the way the horse greets them with so much hope, knowing that these people are here to help.
When they got closer, they realized that the little creature had been severely burnt.
These fishermen accidentally caught a 400-pound ray, so they called a team of professionals to save it. First, they found a place best suited for releasing this giant, did some tests, and finally... The brave men carry the dog out of the house and away from the dangerous smoke before they run back inside to check if anyone's left.
Come here. Oh, Jesus Christ. There's another one. Hold on. Stay in there. There you go. Stay in there. Look for see if there's any more.
Calf fell into a canal with very strong currents. It seemed sure that it would drown, and if it wasn't for this brave man who risked his life, it certainly would not have survived. A heat wave, it's the stray animals that suffer the most, so this kind man decided to help a stray dog by giving it a quick cold shower to cool off.
Shepherd was standing on the fence, tangled in barbed wire and practically begging for help. Many people just drove past it, but thankfully there were caring and compassionate people who stopped to help the dog. And here are Ukrainian firefighters saving a cat from a house damaged by a military missile. Just look how carefully the firefighter gets the animal out. This koala was stuck in a tree because of a flood. It was lucky to be noticed by people in a canoe.
Unfortunately, some people would probably let an animal experiencing heart failure die, but this man in India secured his place in our hearts by showing you should never give up.
Yeah?
Stuffed animal can be very dangerous, but without hesitation, these men teamed up to remove the pot that was stuck on the enraged bear's head. Who got his head stuck between a fence and was trapped there for several hours. Thankfully though, these people finally heard the calls for help and freed the innocent animal. Elephant baby and its mother had fallen into a muddy manhole. A team of volunteers mounted a dynamic rescue using an excavator. The mother then suffered heart failure, but these kind-hearted people were not going to give up and even performed CPR on the elephant.
And here's an incredible rescue of a deer that walked onto the ice and had frostbite on its feet, preventing the animal from getting back to safety. Finally, the saviors managed to free the deer, now faced with the difficult task of warming the animal back up. This poor baby bird was unconscious from dehydration after a severe heat wave, but a person got there just in time. The bird was too weak to drink, but it gradually came to.